Good morning to you. This is Mark Sudduth, and here's what's up in the tropics for Wednesday, the 15th of June, 2022. In the Southwest Caribbean, we have Invest Area 93L. Not looking too impressive this morning. Development chances haven't really gone up, and in fact, if we look at the 5-day, they have decreased as of the 8 a.m. tropical weather outlook, but we'll continue to monitor this. You never know. Maybe some of that energy does get back out over the water more, because right now it looks like it's tucked in there just on the coast of Nicaragua, and of course land interaction is not healthy for tropical cyclone development. In the eastern Pacific, we do have Blas and another area of disturbed weather south of Guatemala and El Salvador right there. Blas will continue to move on out into the open Pacific, away from land areas. Not going to pose a problem except for maybe some increased surf and swells as this intensifies a little bit more, but it'll eventually head out into the open Pacific and weaken and dissipate away beyond the 5-day time frame that we saw on the tracking map there. The satellite imagery this morning, put it all together. You have a nice loop. There is Blas. You can see the pinks there. That's deep thunderstorm activity, or convection as we call it. Luckily, it is going to be moving away from Mexico, so not too much concern for direct impacts there. In the meantime, in the Southwest Caribbean, there is our 93L. It's interesting, there's some more deep thunderstorm activity trying to develop farther offshore. We'll have to see if that pulls some of the energy and the concentrated vorticity back out over the water. You never know. Computer guidance, though, isn't really bullish on it at all. Look at that thunderstorm complex between the southeast U.S. and Bermuda. You never ignore these systems, these complexes of thunderstorms over fairly warm water. During the hurricane season, you just never know. Nothing really solid in the guidance to suggest that we have to worry about it. But again, you don't want to just turn a blind eye to it and ignore it, because after all, it is hurricane season. And then finally, check out this pretty vigorous tropical wave moving off of Africa. Still too early to expect development that far to the east, but this is a seedling that is now put into the pipeline, so to speak, and we'll have to watch that energy as it traverses the Atlantic over the next several days. In fact, you can see it right here on the vorticity chart. Shows up pretty nicely there south of the Cabo Verde Islands. A little area of yellow, a little bit of energy there. Again, we have to watch these mainly as they travel to the west and get into the Caribbean and beyond. But I think once we get to the end of the month and into early July, there are signals that we might start to see some development chances in that part of the deep tropics closer to the islands, but that's still a couple of weeks away. There's the vorticity signature of Blas. That shows up pretty nicely in the chart here, nice and round and intense. And then there's that large area, and that's the key. It's a large area. The energy is spread out all over the subtropical Atlantic there. You never know. Like I said, sometimes these areas can concentrate more, and you could get development. But also, as I said before, there's nothing in the guidance, nothing to worry about that I see. But again, we'll watch just to be sure. All right. And speaking of that, look, here's the GFS from the 6Z run. And in that same region up there, that energy just moves out into the Atlantic, gets whisked away, and that's about it. There's also Blas that exits screen left over there. And then our two systems, the one in the Southwest Caribbean, it tries to develop a little bit as it pinwheels around. Then you've got the system south of there in the Eastern Pacific. That whole interaction between land and the two features interacting with each other, and just that large circulation gyre, as we call it. But this doesn't look very favorable for anything intense to develop anytime soon. Nevertheless, we'll keep a watch on things just to be sure. That's what we do. All right, I'll go over all of these topics and more in greater detail later this afternoon during my Hurricane Outlook and discussion video. You can catch that exclusively on YouTube and on Facebook. Just search for HurricaneTrack. All right, that's it from me. Again, I am Mark Sudduth. This has been What's Up in the Tropics. I'll talk to you again later this afternoon.